I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is July 15, Tuesday, 2025. Hope you had a good day today. So, another fabulous video, but you'll see here that we talked about retracing and then popping back up for a new high. So, and I mentioned that, watch out for this wick. We have obviously the open here of the week, the gap, but we also talked about these hourly imbalances. I wanted to see them stay pretty much unfilled and pretty much just shoot up. So go watch it. It's right there in the marker right there. You'll see I'm talking about it. But what did they do? They ended up using that weekly imbalance that we dragged out to the tick. So beautiful. And this is the best part about understanding algorithmic theory and trading. So what did we do? We pushed up, made a new high, retraced deep, came back to yesterday's PM session, by the way, as well. Look at the body sitting inside. Can't be made up. Pushed all the way for a new high. That's where we were for 930. Not looking to buy that. So you obviously know that we're looking for, after the example that I gave you, pushing up here. Well, then from there, what are you going to be doing? I'm surprised they did all this all in fucking one day. But again, not surprised at all. Because they're little bitches. Why do I say that? Because they're making you not get the opportunity to get the new high or go through it in normal time. But anyways, then the profile in general speaking will be looking for a retracement. So, and that's pretty much it. And we're kind of like stuck around here. So, but they're just pretty much drives back, right? So if I go right here, real simple, you see CPI at 830 here, okay? Pushes up. That's the open for 830, by the way. Pushes up and bounce, comes and seals it to the tick. Then comes, steps on that imbalance right there twice, shoots up. Now 930 happens, okay? So I'm already knowing where the opening range gap is. I know where 50% is, but I also know what's more importantly is these equal lows right there. That low and that low, look how they're equal. They do not take each other out. Right there is a obvious draw on liquidity plus the imbalance. So liquidity imbalance, that is the number one goal for this retracement back. Forget sealing it, forget 50%, none of that. That is the goal, and you'll see how I attack that sickly. But 930 raids. Look at the body come right back into this imbalance. Now this is key. You'll see this on a 15-second of also how I caught this, which I'll show you in a second. I want to make videos long, but take a look here. You'll see that I enter inside that imbalance after we break structure. So it's low, high, low, shoots up high, breaks, retrace. And I said this, I think yesterday, literally in the video yesterday for the entry yesterday. Pops right in, holding, beautiful. So initially my entry is here. The stop loss is first here. Then it gets moved. Once it tags here, this 50%, then it gets moved to the top of this imbalance, right? And then after it comes down, it's automatically, well, where you see it, I put it at 50%. But I'm doing this, I'm showing this just to leave the stop, just to show you the skill set. But here you're going to see that's the main target. Yes, I know we have the midline level. I know I have this area here. You'll see there's a down candle. It'll be useful in the future trade. But anyway, that's the first trade. So after that, remember, overbought, coming to an oversold, couple drives, very simple logic. And then from there, well, you know what, before I even continue, I'm going to show the 15-second. Now, I know a lot of you don't maybe have 15-second, but you should. If you think it's noise, it's absolutely not noise. It's you'll see here this candle, and I didn't even draw it on the 15-second because you wouldn't see it in the 1 minute, so I didn't do it. But if I'm going to draw right now and show you the fire, just so you don't think I'm fucking crazy when I'm taking these type of trades, right? Right there, boom. Let me just hold on. Here, put it on the seconds. It's on the seconds. Okay, cool. Right there, you'll see my entry. My entry is based off of popping up, coming down, and as soon as we are passing this this candle, 9:30 and the first 30 seconds is what that is, right? You can see the break too. Now, this is what I meant by the structure by yesterday. High, low, high, break, comes right in. So I'm expecting it to not go above 50% of this bearish imbalance, coupled with I don't want to see it go higher than the actual inversion right here. But that my entry method is based off of it passing it. And then everything else, stop loss is above, right? So just super sick, okay? All right, so now that we've mentioned all that, and at the time I didn't have the projection, didn't need it because this was my goal for today. And it wasn't a big goal, but the problem with this, and I'm looking for a speaker, by the way. See this high, this low, high, low, high, and then low. See, you can see if I drew it out. See that? You see that? So I'm actually looking for that too. Why do I say that? Because of the fact that it's very common at the tops. Right? And then we also have very high resistance too. So I'm not having too much expectation. But let's take a look more of what I've done here. So with that sell, no, and I didn't drag this out for because I just wasn't interested in drawing it. But this guy here, if you take a look, you'll see, excuse me, we come down, hit the 25%, pop back in right there. See that? I just don't have it dragged out. And then very similar story with this imbalance from that 830. If you take a look here, you'll see that the body is contained inside it right there. And then, boom, just rejects right there, which I'll show you in a second. I don't drag this out. Here's the second trade. So what am I doing here in general speaking strategy? I'm looking for a dump, then a pump, right? I don't need to hold the pump forever. We're at all-time highs. Don't even feel comfortable buying up here. How about that? So what are we doing? Well, I'm expecting a retracement. Once we push up with these higher highs and higher lows, I'm looking for the retracement back to then maybe possibly buy back up. But here's the thing. You have, well, I won't even get into that. But anyways, you can see I'm holding the projection. That was that swing that broke on the 15-second. It's also on the 1 minute, but you just have to visualize it on the 1 minute. Right, because that was a high, that was a low, and then 930 pushed up, and then this came down. You should know that's a break without even going to it, needing a smaller time frame, which I do know that, but you know the clarity was on that inversion. Anyways, comes down to a 2.5. We get into this area. What do? They come down, they pop up, come down. Now you see me dragging it. By the way, here when I don't like to sometimes drag things across because I just don't want to lose my focus here or just whatever, but no big deal. So you can see that body sitting in there, right? You see that boom, tap. I didn't drag it all the way and I didn't do that on purpose. So anyways, then it comes down and it still misses the 50. Super suspect. Guess what? I'm still not going to buy this. Number one, this is ugly price action. Okay. This price action right here, buy this low is hella suspect. Number one. Number two, it's just ugly, and I don't want to. My entries, the old me with Dow would have took this buy, but again, not worried about it. So what do? We allow patience and time to unfold. Look what besides time, you can see oversold here, and then they do it here again, and they push back up. So that's right here. That's the same range though. Right? And then we push back up. Now they come real deep. They avoid the 930 here. Okay, cool. What does it do? Then it comes. So it's not like we keep going. And I'm not interested in buying any of this. Like that. This is the fucking great video and reason why I do not buy these type of trades. See this first imbalance rare? We didn't get one all the way until I believe it was 10:05. And you see we're tagging in it. You got to use the gaps, but we tag in it right there and we push off. This can go without me. I'm not playing with them. So anyways, what does it do? Then it breaks down. It starts breaking down. Imagine you trying to buy every single one of those getting fucked, right? So You got to have patience. And what am I understanding? Well, we're continuing down until about 11 o'clock, looking for the next hourly candle to be traded on. And look how I get literally the open of the 11 o'clock 1 hour candle. That's the 11 o'clock, this blue candle right here that's sitting on top. Now what did we do? Well, we came to the first imbalance. It looked like it was going to buy there. And this, no, comes up, boom, meets the objective. Why was this my objective? I would have liked to have came to this objective because, well, now you see the 3.5 to 4. We get there. Okay, so now we have the 50% of the opening range gap. We have that high, which is last week's high, okay, and all-time high at the moment. This is the all-time high, right? So I'm just leaving it there. And then look to your left here. We talked about the midnight level, but we also talked about this down candle. Now I didn't draw this down candle out because it would have been too much shit on the chart at that moment, but I just used the imbalance. And if I show you the open of that candle, that little one right there, that 11:45. Let me just draw it, man. Boom. See that, buddy? So not only are we tagging that, and they don't want to sweep that, even though you would expect it to maybe get into this imbalance. But right now, at this time, we're 11 o'clock. Look how 11 o'clock is right there on this candle here. See that? That's 11:01. I could talk about this all day long, but in general, we don't break that down candle. Now, I'm not expecting this to hit a home run for the new all-time high, which would have been great. But I can't expect something like that on something like today, and especially the manipulation, especially with us higher highs, higher lows. You can get retracements, and now we're selling back down, as you can see that, right? You can see we're still coming down. So I'm not trying to fuck around and find out. I'm looking for a little dump trade, a little pump trade, and be done. That's it. Nothing fabulous. So that's why with the patience, there was about 7 moves today. So really it's a sell by sell day, right? I'm looking for a dump pump day, but I mean, it's not likely because it's going to keep retracing. And you're going to get a sell by sell, meaning lower lows and lower highs. Very, very simple, right? And you can see where we get to that imbalance on that 15-minute right there, buddy. We come in, we tag it, we seal it, right? And then we have another wick. And here, if you take a look at the drives here, just in this price action, forget that low and that low. So just at this time, drive 1, drive 2, and then this drive has 3. So comes down 1 right there. Then it pulls down right there and then pulls back 2. Then it's finale 3, and that's where I enter. So nice oversold. Doesn't really matter. I understand the algorithmic understanding here. And when I was taking this, I was like, bro, you might take a loss here because guess what? That midnight level is right there. See that? I know it's the same color orange. I don't know. I need to change that color. Point is that look how I still take the trade and we miss it. Why? Because I feel like that's a dangling carrot. It's also not to be perfect. They are trying to be incognito. Without the level, I understand like this simple price action. Could it have kept going? Sure. Guess what? I would have probably bought it if it kept going a little bit more. Okay. Why? Because we have completed an agenda with the low. And then guess what? All these fucking buyers right here. Sellers right here. So anyways, what does it do? The 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock shoots up. And then 11:01 shoots up. Breaks that little lower high swing for a structure shift. And then it retraces with these 2 down candles. Boom. Oh, guess what that is? Bounces off that all-time high. Level that it's in green. It's the only green now. I deleted all the rest of them because I didn't need them anymore. It's a little overkill if I kept using them at this point, but we tag it right there, right? You also have 50% of that wick right there, a little bullish one, 11:01, and then you also have the 50% of this wick right here, all right there, boom, and it's guess what that is? Oh, that's the 50%. So I'm watching it flow up. Where am I taking this? Well, I got the swing here. Here's 2 to 2.5. Oh, here's 3.5 to 4. I would love for it to get there because why? Oh, you have this 930 level. You had the easy sellers, but we did take care of them here. There's only two things that this is going to do. Either this is going to have squeezed them out already, and we're going to sell off for another leg down, or we're going to come and attack this. But guess what? At this point, I'm going to make sure you see this trail. I don't give a fuck what happens anymore after this because of the time. Now it's 11:50, and I've already also got 3 drives. So in the pushes, look how it comes to this first imbalance right here. So we come underneath it, we come 50%, we retrace back. Now we get to go above it, retrace back, we bounce on this. At this point, I'm trying to get to this. This is supposed to be in red, by the way, because yes, this is my minimum target where I hit. Where is my minimum target? It's this -2 plus what? See these little two guys right there? See that? Equal highs? I'm attacking that. Boom. So it hits the -2. Can't get more specific than that. Okay, I hit it. It retraces. Now I said, you know what? I'm going to go for this guy right here. But if it doesn't happen, the day is over. So oversold to where overbought. You see that right there? Yes, this was a little suspect, but I expect some drives after this, because this is pretty easy. From this lower high to this lower high, people are going to be like, oh yeah, that's like a 70 or something. I'm not doing no fib. The logic here is that they've already came up and, pretty much got everyone they wanted there. But when we're coming up still, I'm going to trail it. Okay, I did a good job of trailing. And then guess what? I get stopped out right here, right? We never hit this area. The job is done. It's 11:50. I'm done for the day. I don't want to trade anymore. And I am not excited about being at all-time highs and as a day trader, right? All right, so I hope that all makes perfect sense. And then check it out. What did we do? As you know, we sold right from where I got out. What a smart fucking move, right? Guess what happens? Because guess what this means? I don't know what they're going to end up doing. Are they going to keep going, or is it going to be another leg back? Yeah, they oh shit, they just sold. I fucking knew it. So the reason why I wasn't involved with the sells, and I could have sold for the retracement, because I wanted to get this liquidity here, and I also wanted to get this liquidity here. This is a sell model, and I'm surprised. Well, we might even be coming there now. But I wanted to tag this guy here because it's a sell model, right? That liquidity is very obvious. Oh, I didn't talk about this. See how we talked about yesterday's video with that first imbalance that took, the sell here and a buy here. Remember that? We came above it and we used it as support. Look how we come back to it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Let me open it up for you, dude. Like, you see that? See that? Came right back. Asia bounced on it twice. Okay. And then took off, and then came up above, and then retraced back into the PM session's first imbalance. And how does it look like? Well, yes, they come outside, right? And then look at the bodies just sitting there. Look at that. Look how it just takes off right there. That is not a random zone at all. All right, looks like it's going to come right for that target. I knew these bitches. I knew it. And that's the reason why I wasn't going to be holding and fucking around with no buys. Now, what could I have done? I have solved the structure. I'm not blind to, I'm not like when the price was right here. This is how it was. I'm not blind to understanding that that's a lower low, lower high, lower low, and a lower high from this situation, right? I understand that. And by the way, well, if you drag the whole thing, right here, and then, but I just don't need to have it all like that. But look at this guy right here. Oh, missed it by a hair. All right, didn't need it. But what was I gonna say? So that's my probability. That's the strategy, and I understood that. Oh man, these are lower highs, dude. We probably want to keep coming down to seal this opening range. But I'm not trying to mess around and find out at the all-time high. In the general speaking, this is a low, that's a high. All right, and then we're looking to come back into 50%. See, because this 4-hour had already came into this imbalance on this on the 4-hour, and in the 1 hour, it was empty, and that's why I wasn't thinking about it, right? And we just tagged it now. All right, so we just got in there now. No. Yeah, I already discussed this. We tag into this. There's a 1 hour imbalance right there. I don't have that drawn. I'm using that Wednesday imbalance to show the precision there. But again, in a range, remember that was a low, that was a high. Retracements for these drives, and then it made a new high. So higher low to higher high. Okay. So now you're coming back with the retracement back, and we're at 50% is from here to here, roughly here, right? But what's the logic here? Is that I'm not trying to be right here. I'm trying to keep the day simple and not trade too much, and that's exactly what I did. Now, some of this makes me a little irked because I would have loved to have caught some of these sells, but it's going to be after the PMs, after my lunchtime situation, and I'm not going to be sitting here for hours, right? But as you could see, that was the goal. What I did was where we were. And then and this never happened. This should have been red. But again, if you're married to something like this, then it's like, dude, you're gonna get hurt, right? Just trail it out. I mean, if you have a real strong conviction on that, yes. But the thing is that this is so up here that I'm not interested in having some type of conviction like that. As you see, we have the high resistance price action, right? Coming right back in, right back in, right back in, right back in, right? So here, as it broke, you can see this little swing right here. Broke, retrace. It was actually pretty nice. It was easy. It was actually pretty easy. So it came right back in and balanced right there. And then it just sold for a new low. Took out that low. All right, came to the 3.5 to 4. This was a beautiful trade as well. Why? Because that's the midnight level. Look how the midnight level is getting used. So they when they don't tag that, it has a very high chance of it coming right back. And I also understood that too. That's also a side note. So here we go. We're tagging that the bottom, or we're tagging that midnight level, and we come all the way back. Remember, keep in mind that first imbalance. I don't have it dragged out on purpose, but here you can see the fire. That look what time it is. Look when it comes underneath and it finally sells off. It's 12:50. So macro's in, lunch, and it's kicking for that low. That's just a model all in itself. All right. Ball right here bounces. See this low, comes up, comes back. This is a very high probability of it buying again. Even though I would not want to buy this, it's a very probability of buying again because it doesn't take out that low. What does it do? It does buy. Comes up. Here's your first imbalance of the PM session. It's debatable. It could be in between these little candles here, but it's still small. This is a little more significant. I use the gaps here. So yeah, I could have put it here. I could have put it right there because it is technically more than 4 ticks. But it's not that serious. But if I was to show you, we would have missed it anyway. I'm going to use it. So, point is, look at this. Lower low. Comes up, lower high. Deep. Does not take that out. That's a big signature too. Right? What does it do? Breaks. Boom. Imbalance. You're at the 25%. Oh, shit, man. Well, let me charge my, it said my keyboard, right? All right. And then that's at the 25% of the opening range gap. Look at that. That's not a coincidence. Sells off. Comes to that first imbalance of the PM session. That's a trade in itself. Then comes above it for a second and then below. Boom. Right there. See that? And then they're using time in here. You had the last power hour. If you obviously take a look at the 1 hour, fucking sick. So they were holding this like it was going to push up, then they came back down. And that's why I wasn't going to play with these damn people. And I knew we were most likely going to come here, and we're here now. All right. So that's why I wanted to wait a little bit longer in this video. But again, I'm not involved. And look how we hit that all-time high with the green. Look how we're underneath it here. I'm underneath it. Boom, right there. See that? And then boom, tag to 50%. Look at that. That's why they want to make it 24-hour trading, because they're going to hide these levels. Yeah, 50%. right there. Yeah, did I say that? Yeah. So and then they just sealed it. Obviously for what? The breakout area here. Boom. So what could I have done better with this? Well, I did a great job of not to keep trading. That was, I think, my strength today. Which is, but on the same side, understanding the probability of already having structure to the retracement, you don't have. You can see that structure. I don't have to draw that, right? Hopefully, I don't have to draw that. So, what was I going to say? But what I could have done, if I was to have kept trading, which I'm not going to, but if I did recognize these as lower highs and coming for these lows and this narrative. But because it's just so fickle and it is a CPI day, so and as far as it being all time highs, it's so high resistance. When I was drawing those examples, if you remember, about I want to see come up. I think I even did it from over here. I want to see it come above and then do this, right? Which we were getting here, but because of the way they've been delivering price action, it's not happening. We're not getting these explosive moves up. We're not continuing up. It's not burning up. It ain't doing none of that. Every time it comes right back in. I've been talking about that since last week, or maybe the week before that. I can't even recall it. But anyways, it's coming right back into this inefficiency. It's going to eventually take out these guys right here, I'm assuming. And you'll probably see us hit this Wednesday. I'm going to make this darker. Only because... this and this is what I'm using for high levels. Hold on, I gotta go. So all right, and then and that's the scenario. Oh, overbought here, and let me go to dollar was also the key to understanding that we had all these gaps, and I was mentioning that it kind of woke up and it's pushing up hard. So as it's pushing up hard, that's going to make us come down. It's going to give us some difficulty. So and then you'll see here that we what's it called? Pre-market here and 8:30. So 8:30 we had a higher low with NAS, and then and lower lows here, and then we pushed up, right? We pushed up at the 8:30, retracing to that imbalance, and we pushed back up. Now, at the time I wasn't well, we had a higher high here, and then that kind of pushed us back down in there. So once we popped back up, Dow made a lower high here, right? And then NAS and S&P pushed straight up. All right, that's no big deal. But then we had lower highs here with S&P and very clear higher highs right there. And that was the nice catalyst to sell at the 9:30. So, and then we came down, wasn't messing with them. It was lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. And then this was a nice buy without any real significance of a divergence or anything like that, but because of the logic I was using to the left. And then yeah, man, that was pretty much it. Okay, so Dow looked kind of bullish. I talked about, is this area going to be used as support? Well, they used it, but guess what? That was a low. That's a lower high. When we came down, it ended up being a break, and then now they're coming straight down for that liquidity. There's that gap here, and I also talked about the imbalance right here, which was this June 27th Friday. I said, are we going to be stuck in the July 1st imbalance on the daily, or are we going to get into here, making sense that now CPI is coming down here? But guess what? I understood both options of up or down. What did I do? I took a trade on, I took a sell and a buy, and I stopped because that was a decision that I made to say, well, we don't know what's going to happen here, right? So maybe this is helping in understanding how you can attack this market. But dude, there were 7 moves today. Like crazy. Beautiful. The old me would have tried to catch, not the old me, but the recent old me would have, it maybe would have caught a couple more trades or one more. My goal is 1 or 2 trades at max. 3 is I'm really feeling myself. It's really easy, or I'm just super confident, but I don't really nowadays feel like that anymore. I don't really, not that I don't feel confident, but I don't really need to be involved. All right. Cause I understand how I can overtrade. Right. But, anyways, you can see it just melting for that liquidity in this breakout area right there. Right. Oh, and I forgot to say that was a divergence with Dow. See, there's a divergence here with Dow. I meant to say this the whole time. I don't know why I didn't say it, but I keep forgetting. Actually, I forgot it. I forgot it like 2 videos ago, to be honest, or more. But there's divergence here with Dow, and then S&P is S&P had already made new highs. So S&P and Nas had already made new highs, and there was your divergence. So now they're coming back into the opening week. Real high resistance. Look. You would expect it to have kept going already. It's not fucking doing that. So decisions are based off of that. Rated there, came right back to wipe out all these people from the week. They were a lot more gracious with Nas, but it's coming down now, and you're going to see where it's going. Motherfuckers, I knew it, bro. Another thing that that was giving me the heads up was that, we had already sealed this opening range gap with with S&P. I meant to have put these indicators on their chart earlier ago, but I never really did it. But these bitches are now coming to the end, doing it at the end of the day. Fucking yeah, a tiny bit like jealous that I didn't take these trades coming down, because I knew that, but I made a smart play. And I'm just going to leave it at that, because this whole area here, I wanted to attack right here. The daily open, you have the imbalance right there. When we shot through, we have that liquidity right there. So, because this is a nice little sell model, and S&P already went for it, and Nas didn't. We still didn't hit it, and that's why I wasn't playing around with it. But, yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. Look at that ceiling. Hell of all that shit. Yeah. So is that going to be a divergence with S&P and Dow, where Nas does not take that out? That would be pretty dirty. I don't see how they don't do it, but I don't know. I mean, it's looking like they might, though. Yeah. So that Wednesday imbalance is super key. Look how many beautiful areas that it's using. But sealing this, I fucking knew it, bro. Oh my god. So whatever. And then also the other catalyst of this issue is that, are you gonna seal this gap or not? This is Nvidia, and they're just playing around. All the other majors, they were all coming up, and then they were all coming up, right? And then that's why I took a little buy for a second. And then all the majors started coming back down. So if you were looking at that, or if you are watching that, you'll see that that's also happening. So that was the factor. So I'm expecting probably maybe a more of a retrace. They decided to come deeper. And now it's getting a little suspect, because I'll be honest with you. Again, low, high, all higher lows and higher highs up, and then you get in the retracement back. That's why I was saying I would have liked it to have came here in the example. I would have liked to have came down here already and then went up, and you could leave this alone. I mean, again, I'm bullish. I'd like for it to be exceedingly bullish, but it's not as strong as we thought. So again, I expect them to melt up slowly, and then eventually, when they cut these rates and everything. Oh, and another tidbit I might forget is that bonds was actually facing up for a second, and then they gave up. So the bonds started sinking, and that's a whole other conversation in itself. But the bonds were sinking and yields were actually pushing up. So that was another reason why I'm a little mad at myself that I didn't participate in these sells. You know, from here or there, or even this one, you can tell once it's down here, it's heavy, it's getting stuck, it's gonna roll right over. And to get into this, but that's one of the reasons why I was a little bit like frustrated that I didn't take these sells right here. But I still made a very good choice on trailing and being done. So proud of myself for that. And then, keeping a process and a routine, right? So, you guys take care and God bless.